Kaplan, welcome on in once again. Whether the off season has been long, your mustache has grown, and your forehead ever becomes brighter with each day passing. So, I'm sure you have a lot of ideas in your head as your hairline also recedes back because of all the ideas coming into it. What's going on?
That's the best reason I've ever heard of my hairline receding. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, it's I just keep looking at the top as it disappears and looking at the bottom, being like, can I get a little more here? Come on, where's it going? Is it moving or is it disappearing?
It's not. It's definitely going forward. That's for sure, bro.
Yeah.
That's his try.
I buy a couple baseball caps. That's on my mind. I actually have been thinking that. I've been thinking I need a good cap or two.
I think a good. It's in your name, bro. Like it's just.
Yeah. Hey, that's true. That's true. Yep.
Yeah, it just has to work out. Now, to be fair, I agree. Having a beard with a shaved head is a very big hack, and I'm just happy my head shape isn't weird. So I can go ahead and rock this. I got a nice little round cranium. Aside from her disappointment, I think let's just go ahead and address right to the disappointment that the world around us, Cap. What's going on, man? What are we doing? We lost our own event. The fuck?
The trophy was so cool looking too. That was the biggest reason. There was multiple times that weekend where I was like, God, that trophy is so cool looking.
So sick.
We cannot mess that up. And we did. We got second in our own tournament, and I'm back on Fraud Watch.
I think that's it. You know what?
It's a tough world.
And you had a long leeway time, to be fair, between deadlock and now. Yep. You know, you did have a good couple months where people were like, okay, Kaplan's back in a good graces, and then suddenly people heard you talk. They just were not a fan. Yep. So you know what? Here, let's actually start off there. Before we dive into what's going on with the roster, what do you have? You know, like, what's Bang's actual name? All the big burning questions that we have. I want to dive into some massive overreactions that I've seen across Reddit, Twitter, and everything else too. Okay, just to really ease this
Start
in.
With the E. Sure.
Okay, right off the top, drop Zekin. That was the one that I saw. So
yeah, 1D on one trick. I mean, nerf's coming. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's done for. And the second one to follow up that Mata clears Zekin as well.
Yep, Sun City Classic.
Yeah, what can I say, man? It is all coming together, so that makes sense. Speaking of the event, let's talk about it. The SEN City Showdown. Big event. First big event with a bunch of new rosters, brand new teams, right? And, a showcasing of what you've been cooking for the past 4 to 5 months. Your ideas, your hard work, everything that you still in your blood, sweat, and mustaches, all here. Yeah. It was incredible. And here's some highlights, to be fair. Some big highlights. Trophy, like you said, hella cool, right? Like the little Lego miniature city, that was sick. Cast, a lot of fun, right? The couch cast, always a banger.
Yeah.
In terms of your team, hey, man, you're finally positive against Potter. So you made that happen.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So you clutched that back and you finally have a dub against her. In fact, 2 dubs, I believe. So it's like, you know what? We're winning, which is what we like to see.
Yeah.
Now, the lowlights and the rest of the event, I find you can expect. Talk to me about your perspective from beginning to end of that event, the injection finally of Sentinels for the crowds, and where we stand right now.
Yeah, I think we're feeling good. You know, we got if there was any time to lose, it's the first off-season event of the year, right? And learn some things. And we've probably been scrimming a few weeks leading up to it. It's not all about scrims, all about everything. You got to figure out what kind of team you are in matches, and I think we got a lot out of. There were some really clean moments, and then there were some bumpy moments, and some of it has to do with the game, some of it has to do with okay, just what kind of team are we going to be in matches, right? People, you can't, no matter how bad you want to play a scrim like a match, it's not the same. The adrenaline gets going, you get pumped, you see the SEN City trophy, you think that thing is so damn cool, I need to win this, and you get fired up, and I think we got, everyone had to get to know each other in matches, right? Obviously Jordan, and Zach know each other well from matches, but there's still a lot of dynamics we had to work out, and yeah, we got a lot out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing, right? Which we have to understand is that, hey, this was realistically their first time actually playing together outside of like that show match that you guys had, but like that was like, like
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them realistically. So
Yeah.
nothing really like there, but maybe might have helped the familiarity, if anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when when you have Nera just frying, I guess 5 people, definitely helps boost the ego in terms of, but they're just CCs. Now here against teams though, so your impression going into it, what were some of the thoughts that you had when you formed the roster? You're like, okay, cool, we might look good, we might look bad, and as we stand now, I think you mentioned you were happy with it, but some of the biggest takeaways that you had from that event.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wanted to win it, really, quite
Yeah.
badly. In all seriousness, really wanted to win it. Really hated losing it. It's just impossible, no matter how you want to approach these things, to not want to win them when you're in them. But yeah, big takeaways. I think the team did a pretty good job with like having consistent energy throughout the matches. I think there was some times we were a little overheated, but all in all, we never. I was gonna say we never totally fell apart, but in terms of performance, like in that last series against NRG, we did. But in terms of the atmosphere, the morale, the fact that we could hold on as well as we did, despite the fact that every round was not going our way on Bind, was a good sign for me. Hard to get too many huge takeaways because it's a different atmosphere, obviously, when you're on a big stage with a bunch of people. Then these guys are playing at the same exact setups they scrim at, so
Yeah. Works out well though. But
you know, we got a team that want to win a lot, so we were able to like. It was cool to. It wasn't. I was about to say it was cool to have a loss. It was really. I really loved losing a series
yes.
on the second of the 3 days, because then we could go and practice talking out things and talking about what we need to improve on going into the next day. It's yeah. I really loved that. I didn't love that we were in that situation, but I love how we handled it.
Okay.
Made me excited. That's a big part of the VCT tournaments. You gotta you gotta iterate constantly. You lose a game and you have to go back to the prac room, talk, sleep, wake up, go over ante, and play your next match. And like you need to be able to, rally very quickly. And we were very good at that last year, as people know. Like we definitely bounced back from losses fast. So it was cool to see that. I think we have a team that'll be able to do that again.
Yeah, because I believe, like, to also go reference last year too, I believe it was right around after the Master Madrid stuff, right? It's like you, I think really only about 1 or 2 games you guys lost in just that first initial split, and then after a really nice streak as well going into it. So, like you mentioned, it gave you guys a real nice time to be able to recuperate and come back once again. I.e., some of those losses were a bit more pressurized, such as, upper finals against Genji, just a chill loss that we can just do and lose both map bans. Yeah, but
so we like the hard road. I'd love to play if I could get a BO5, if I could know what it feels like to have the veto advantage in a BO5. Oh man, I just dream of that day.
Cap, I want that for you more than anything. I want that for me more than anything, as a fan of the game and as a fan of you as a person and many people on the team, right? It's just because I want you to walk into it and not be up, for 9 hours before the night studying what they're probably gonna get banned out by. Because, dark circles, you can rock, but not many people can, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think I am realizing the only 2 BO5s I've ever had, we won both 3-2. I'm pretty sure that's the case. We beat Loud and Kickoff. We beat, pretty hyped.
You are right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, actually, no. We won one in the Africa TV tournament in the offseason as well.
There you go. Yeah.
Now,
see,
called Soup.
See. Okay, so there's a string there, but I find where this roster lands is still relatively unproven through many people's eyes, right? Because this is not, of course, the days of yore. This is not the days of our world champion of a world champion initiator, and the frag movie that is Tenz now here. You have talent that people have looked at across the year and actually had slight expectations for between Bang and Narrate, but now with them in the roster too. I want you to tell me as to what were your expectations when you brought them into the roster.
I mean, I think more than anything, I knew they wanted to work hard and they really wanted to win, and so my expectations, like internally, are just that we're gonna work very hard. We're gonna have very, focused practice days. We're gonna get a lot done day to day. We're gonna be able to handle the pressure, and I think that last point's probably still technically unproven, right? We're not we're not, as the stakes increase.
Mhm.
But all in all, that's proven to be very true. Like, we have a very hardworking group. Everyone's down to hold each other accountable, down to, we know we're working on each day and we don't just play to play.
Mhm.
So that's gone super well in terms of results. I mean, I don't want to do anything except win, and that is the goal. But yeah, like, I think we all know hard work is the best way to get there, right?
That's
Control what you can control.
exactly, and that's a huge point. But on the topic of control, though, is I find something that I personally don't know, which I'm not a paid member of Sense Society. I'm sorry, I don't know. But
Only $5, man.
I should be. Hold it,
Not
five
bad.
USD, brother. That's
Yeah,
in Canadian. That's like 1,000. All right, look, I'm not that rich, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
point I want to understand is that when you brought those two together, was there a particular reason why? What you saw in them, like in terms of when to kind of bring this together? Because I imagine you had a decent amount of options between trials and prospects and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was just like the work ethic, the grit, the like want to win.
Mhm.
Like intrinsic motivation, right? Like, I need people to be consistently motivated for a whole season, and that's very hard to do. There's very, very stressful points, and there's points where you basically just need to cheat away from burnout in terms of the time and energy you put in, and the way you do that is just wanting to win very badly. And I cannot give that to somebody. I can try to tap into it and, like, really get it out of them when I need it, but at the end of the day, like, they either have that or they don't. Those the number one important part of
Yeah.
signing Bang and Narrate to
Mhm.
me is, like, I had zero doubts from interviewing them that, and obviously their experience and what they've done and whatnot, that
Mhm.
they would not fail me in that regard.
Your assistant coach now, Gunser, right, coming in, right, who or I, Luke, right, to be able to help you all out. Now, Luke talks himself about a student of the game specifically under your tutelage as well too. Talk to me a bit more about how you've worked with him and where you see his growth now, especially now coming back under your loving arms.
Yeah, I think he's always been very, very sharp about the game. Like, he made these analysis posts that he would put up on, like, WordPress
I remember.
or something like that on Reddit, and that's what I caught my eye, and then we brought him on to Ghost, and so he's always been very sharp about the game, especially creatively. Like, he's not just gonna notice patterns about the opponents or small details. Like, he's able to really just come up with a strat. Just open up Valplant and just cook up a strat with no, real, like, guidance, and I love that about his work. But we have not worked together for 2 years, so he's definitely grown into his own as a coach. Like, he's a lot more confident, I think, now that he's had a lot more experience. It's nice. Like, I think we can disagree with each other even at times. Like, he could point out something and about a strat I'm working on or a way I see something, and we could back and forth, and that's wonderful, obviously, and very important that it's not just like a one-way street in terms of that stuff. Very involved in like if we're debating in a VOD review, like, how we should have played around or what the most optimal thing is to do, he's happy to get in there and have his opinion and speak his mind when he needs to. So in terms of, like, things that have shaped, I think, a lot since the last 2 years. In the past 2 years, I think that's big stuff.
What matters from there is that now you have this kind of wonderful core, and Luke mentioned something as well too, where you mentioned that why you like working with you guys a lot is that they're all very coachable.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that means a pretty simple thing. It means that they're more than willing to listen to feedback and be humble in mistakes and open-minded in further progress. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah, definitely. Like, everyone on the team is a critical thinker. They'll all have opinions about things, and they'll all think about things they could do differently, or we could do differently, or we're doing well, or we're doing wrong on their own initiative. I don't need to, like, prompt that. But on the flip side, they can argue their points, and they can accept others' points and concede arguments and take criticism and take feedback, and also, yeah, if I ask them to work on or do something outside of practice, I can trust they'll do it. when we get to practice, if I say I need you to focus on this today, or this is what we're working on, they won't just be like, okay, noted. I'm just gonna play the video game now and forget about all that, and you have to remind me. It's sometimes I'll tell like a player like I need you to work on this, or I think it'd be good if you do this more, and I won't think much of it, and then like 3 days later they'll like do it and message me and be like, is that what you were talking about? And I was like, oh, I forgot I even told you to work on that. Cool, man. Nice. Keep it up.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good group. Yeah.
Right.
They don't like to waste their time.
Which that's what I want to hear too. I find that's what fans want to understand as well too, right? Just like the group you got, which I think I got from both you and Gunter, is that, especially right now after these two events, is mentality is good. Everybody wants to win. It's strong. It's capable. It's iron.
Yes.
But one thing I find seems a bit fluid, just to kind of lightly touch on it, of course, is roles. Now, Cap, I don't mean to get flashbacks to about 2 years ago, but I just want you to understand, just kind of briefly, there was a lot of fluidity which was displayed in your first little showcase. Well, too, could you talk to me a bit about roles right now and how they look, just a bit?
Yeah. So, first of all, my biggest pride and original creation as a coach is called the fishbowl technique. You buy a fishbowl, you write down what the roles in the game are, and you put them all in a piece of paper in the fishbowl, and then you just mix it around and pull them out. And that's a good way to test things out, decide roles, of course. And also if you look at the history of Sentinels in the last 2 years, did some role swaps, and then regardless of whether they stuck, we ended up successful in the long run. So
that's true.
Logically, it's kind of a key ingredient.
So, all right, okay, that's that's fair enough. Yeah.
And in all seriousness, we're playing around with things. We have people will feel a lot because they care a lot. They care a lot about our team, and they care a lot about us succeeding, and they care a lot about the players they root for that are on the team. And I can promise everyone I feel the exact same way. And at the end of the day, we are able to scrim and play matches and work with the information we have and see what people are capable of, and talk as a team on what we think is best to do. And we're just going to keep trying things out because that's what an off-season's for. Okay.
All right. And do you kind of like where you're at? Right? Just as to kind of where you're standing, or are you looking at, or changes along the way, which I imagine are naturally going to happen, but just as we stand currently today in November?
Yeah, I think we're all confident in the direction we're currently going in and the path we're on, but you need to, you need matches to really see where you're at, right? You can only get so much out of scrim, so unfortunately we live in a world where using matches is part of a testing process and figuring things out, because you're gonna, like I said earlier, the team you're gonna be in matches and the team you're gonna be in scrims are different. You gotta make the best with the opportunities you get. And again, that's what an off season's about, right? Figuring out what team are we gonna be in January. We gotta use November and December to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Now I'll just go and state for the record as well too, for everybody else watching, where we stand right now is we're looking at Zek on Sova, which is, I think, hype. That's cool as hell. I think Zek is a damn good Sova, so I like that person's choice, right? And we're looking at Neri on Duelist, and we're looking at Genre Initiator. Which
no, you got it a little wrong. So you're not accounting for the Phoenix buffs. So it's actually Zelda's Duelist. We're slamming Phoenix every map.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, go on. Yeah, sounds good.
And then Zach's gonna be on the Cypher, because Neon's gonna get nerfed, so he'll miss out on his stuns. But if you're in a trip long enough, you get stunned. So we were trying to kind of like figure out where to keep him comfortable. So.
Yeah, and everybody knows that Zekin can't play other duelists besides Neon because Mata will diff him, so it doesn't matter. So you might as well stick him on Anchor because he'll get his one maybe. Yeah, but Zach's falling off. He's like he's 20. Like it's over for him. He's done. Faker can play 12 years. Zach can play 2. That's
just the way it is, huh? These shooter games are ruthless.
They are. Short, man. It sucks, bro. Yeah, it's tragic. But Okay, all right. So just that makes perfect sense, and that's what I wanted to also understand from you as well too, as to where we're at. Now, as what I like to do as well on a bit of a lighter note, because the off season has been long, is Cap. I don't know if I've ever quizzed you on this too, but look, I remember you're a movie buff as well, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
as am I. I've been watching a couple things on the off season too. So just run me down some things you've watched in the past couple months you've enjoyed a lot.
Sure. I watched Anora, which is incredible. I think it'll win Best Picture. It ought to. I'm just saying I haven't seen a bunch of other movies nominated for that spot, but it's so good that it deserves it. Very good movie. People should go watch Anora. And I watched The Wild Robot. Really nice. Really
I like
cute.
that one a lot. It's really cute.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any movies at home since I've only seen movies in theaters in the last like 6 months.
Damn. So what have you been doing at home, Cap? Because you've been home for a while. But so between now and the office, what do you spend your time doing?
Okay, I've been watching more YouTube as well. It's taking place, to be honest, of some series, and there's this parkour YouTube channel called Storer, and I don't care for parkour, but like I just stumbled across them. Oh my god, I'm just eating up their content. It's great. It's very cool. It's very cool. Trust me, bro. It's parkour. Listen.
Dude.
It's 7 guys from the UK, and
of course
they're all. It's a 14-year-old YouTube channel. It's it's like 10 million subscribers.
Yeah,
they've been running their parkour YouTube channel for 14 years together, all 7 of them, and they're all still friends and they all still do it. So I don't really watch to like. I mean, the parkour is cool, whatever. Like, but I watch because it's fun to watch 7 dudes who've been friends for 14 years just like shoot the shit in public and just like make jokes. It's like Friendship Simulator. It's just like I'll just like watch these guys hang out. It's nice. So anyway, check their YouTube out.
Cap, you have friends, right? You doing all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Hardcore parkour.
Hardcore parkour. That's a meme that I don't think any of this audience remembers.
Probably
Dude,
not.
Yeah. Another thing that I find has been a hotbed issue for a lot of people is where the game stands right now. Maybe people are unhappy with actually one agent change, which, hey, to be fair, neon changes are coming. But, you know, as we're speaking currently today, a massive patch is dropped, right? Between one way's Phoenix being changed, Cypher finally not being insanely impressive anymore, right? And a couple others that I can't remember too.
Yeah.
Where do you see the game as it stands? Do you find there any standouts? How things will evolve? Your perspective on it?
I mean, it's very early, right? It's only been a couple days. The Phoenix changes are interesting, but Neon is currently still super strong, so I think probably gonna take some Neon nerfs to like help him out more. Unless you're gonna play Double Duelist. The Cypher one is hard to say. It's very hard to say. I'm so curious about that trip change to like see how much it changes things. I think it could change things a lot and make people experiment, explore a little more, or it could end up not mattering much. And I've gone in a custom and played around with them a bit, but something that needs some time and testing to really get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the state of the game, agent-wise, is healthy. I think the maps are a tougher spot, but I think it's yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. But I think what was it? I think was it Tex was even talking about how like, you know, reducing just the skill cap and floor of things, especially because I think what one thing that people are most at arms about is yeoman change, right? Being able to put the one ways anymore. But I find it kind of makes sense where it was removing like what is essentially unfair one ways on places that it shouldn't rest there anyways, right?
Yeah.
So kind of going according with map geography, but you let me know what you think, because I find Omen was impressive for that reason because of how much value you could generate with these off angles and peaks that you could have for your team.
Yeah, I mean, he's already so insane. Like he's just been insane the entire time he's not existed. I was about to say that he actually was horrible. When the game came
unreleased dog shit.
Yeah, but like he's been so good for so long that taking that away from him is, I mean, like just a little extra justification for these other controllers, especially when they can't do the same one ways as him with the way it was designed. And I'm sure like it was probably for the devs, like, they have to think long term about the health and future of the game and balancing it right. It's probably very hard to balance an agent when, like, one ways can happen on the tiniest, like, oh, there's a root and a crumb attached to this wall, and therefore you can one way it. Like, that's probably so annoying for agent balance designers, because I'm imagining every time you want to and like the map designers, every time you want to remove a certain one way from a certain map, then you have to go to like your art team or whatever that worked on the map and have them like get rid of the statue face on this thing, and it just seems like a huge hassle to balance things. So I get, like, they can actually like set parameters and control it for the long run. I don't think it's a huge deal. I mean, a lot of it's insane. One ways are still insane, right? Like Ascent, Sunset, it's fine.
If you could decide the map pool where it is currently, how would you balance it? Like, what would you take out? What would you keep in?
I would take out Abyss. I would stomp on it a bunch. I would put it in a box. I'd set the box on fire. I'd stomp on the ashes of it. I would text Elon Musk. I would get their number, Elon Musk's number, and Jeffrey Bezos' number, and Bezos, and no matter how long that takes, and I would say to both of them, hey, if either one of you can take this box of ashes on your next space ride and just let it out in space, I would appreciate it, just so it can never return to Earth, hopefully. So yeah, I would do that to Abyss.
Good point. I like that. Yeah.
Can we get Fracture back in? It was what a wonderful map. I actually hated it at first. I hated it for so long because I was like, what is this? Like, the map designer's like, oh, I was inspired by Helm's Deep, and there's 2 spawns, and it's just this whack map. But it's like Valorant in a nutshell. It's like a very successful attempt at a very non-traditional TAC FPS map, and there was diversity to the comps and strategies. At least like on a micro level, like you kind of had to play the map a certain way, but you could do it in a lot of different specific ways with your agents. That map was wonderful. I mean, I already missed Lotus, even though it was a little stale. But I don't know. People got in there with different comps at the end. But what map would I take out for Lotus?
Yeah, what would you take out? I mean, I think Ascent's just like your like standard where it's like, I guess it just has to stay in. Ascent has money on all the devs.
I guess, yeah. Probably Sunset. It's got some problems that I get frustrated with.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it wasn't Sunset.
Take a break from Sunset.
I think I agree. Like, even though they just changed the map, I'm honestly, it was refreshing to see Pearl again. I find Pearl still has the same problems they did before, but at least it was something different, which I didn't mind too much. Yeah. But yeah, I think Abyss and Sunset can go right to hell.
Yeah, Pearl can be more. You asked about defense-sided maps. Pearl might be more. Pearl might be defense-sided. Okay,
which I never really got to hear too, like because so much happens between then and now. After that Abyss map, what happened? Just take me through your day after that. Just
like post-loss.
Yeah, post-loss. Yeah, take me through your evening.
Crying and hugging. And, crying, hugging, a press conference. I think it's all just drawing blanks after that.
That's crazy. With losses like that too, it's like, how do you reel from it? What is the recovery? Because it's such a shared but also such an individual experience too.
I mean, end of season ending losses are always a very, very unique beast. I think most people work so hard and are so tired, and there's so much stress, and it's a very difficult job, and it really weighs on you. And I think when you're very far into a season and you lose, it's incredibly painful. It's very, very painful and miserable at first. There's these weird moments in the days after of like feeling there's a new beginning here, and I'm no longer incredibly tired. Well, I'm incredibly tired, but no longer incredibly stressed because this has come to an end. But then you kind of immediately realize, oh, like I feel a little more relaxed, but that's because I didn't win and I want to keep competing. And then you just like get this wave of depression and misery. And then it kind of like, it's just this weird like
melancholia that just washes over you.
Yeah. And then it's just kind of like, a breakup or something, just while you're doing other things, the thought just pops into the front of your head before you even think about it, of like out of thin air of, oh fuck, we lost that sucks really bad. And I think that one hurt a lot because it was so close. It was top 4 champs, like we were right there. It was that's definitely something a lot of the players, if not all of them, shared at some point to me, is that they felt the same way of like, man, it was a couple more BO3s, like, huh.
Yeah,
but
being right there, and then unfortunately having to just barely miss that, especially considering the factors that you were all playing with too, right? Because you knew that for 2 of you, which, you know, like Tyson revealed before, Saucy revealed afterwards, that this would be it. This would be the last time you would see this roster together, which I think that adds like that extra layer of
yeah.
It sucks even more.
It was kind of like a powerful thing to go through champs, knowing, at least for Tyson, that it was gonna be it like, even though not everyone knew about Gustavo's situation, we knew this roster would not, you know, because Tyson's retiring, would not be, this was it for this roster. And it definitely, like, it was made it extra special. It's like a thing we could reference in a huddle or something or whatever. I mean, I don't think we talked about it constantly, but it was cool to like go to champs and be like, let's really kind of, I remember when he told us before we left to go to champs, he told us in LA, and we were like, okay, let's really make this count. Kind of hype.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of hype. I mean, sucks that Zelsus couldn't get his AP. Yeah, which is tragic. That is still one of my favorite moments I've gotten to create.
Yeah, you really created chaos in that clip.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was that was fucking funny. To kind of end off with what we saw a lot of it too. There were disappointments naturally already with kind of where we stand, but there were a lot of highlights already where seeing the individual prowess, the mental standing, and the desire for growth that stands for its current Sentinels roster is something that every single fan, I find, needs and wants to see. All that remains to be kind of forlorn is the results. That's it. And up going into VCT, something that I've asked a lot of coaches and people is that, do you predict this to be the toughest season of VCT yet? Because that's something that I've been seeing as well with the level of competition that's currently present within our premises. Yeah,
for sure. I think pretty much every team made good changes. Off the top of my head, I'm not thinking through that statement, like everything, as I make that statement, but yes, I do think it will be the toughest, definitely. I mean, I think it pretty much is true.
Yeah.
All in all, either teams made it like objectively upgrades or made changes that internally probably are going to make them more cohesive, stuff like that. I think it will be much harder. And the off season, right? Like, I think thanks to like our org, thanks to upper management, thanks to Rob, like there was so much support for us having a busy and productive off season last off season. And the Sentinels held an off-season tournament, and we did that, and we went to Korea and played in the Africa Now Soup, and it was so productive for us, so beneficial. I think people saw that and how we did in kickoff, and now it's way more competitive, right? Like, you could see how many teams are playing in off-season tournaments. There are more off-season tournaments. Like, it's a really drastic increase in the amount of teams working hard and using the off season to be prepared. So not every team, but most teams. To the teams that aren't grinding hard in the off season, I have no clue what you guys are doing, but or thinking. But
yeah, hey, I'm sure 100 Thieves is still, playing ranked, right? For sure.
Yeah. yeah. Anyway, I gotta dig at our rivals a little bit, right?
I just saw like the moment you were like, should I say something?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very competitive out the gates. I don't think there will be as many teams that just take 4 months to have their stuff figured out.
I don't think so either, especially considering the level that we saw already, these off-season events with the players, the changes now. We got a lot of people back over. We have squads looking cohesive. We have duelists that look out of their fucking minds. And teams that want nothing more than to hold a trophy above their heads.
Yeah.
I, for one, am very, very excited for this VCT season. And Big K, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you as always. I'm sure I'll talk to you in about a month, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here.
As always. Peace.